Scotland's a wild and lovely place.
But there's a change we must embrace.
Scotland's water's world class.
No doubt.
So, take a refillable bottle.
When you go out.
It's your water, your life.
Top up from the tap with Scottish Water.
Fresh, cool, clear.
And only available right here.
Good evening from Tollcross International Swimming Centre and welcome to Day 3 finals for the Scottish National Open Championships 2018. I'm Duncan McKinnell and with my co-commentator Alan Lynn, the national coach for Scottish swimming, we'll be taking you through the action this evening. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening, Duncan. Good evening, everyone, wherever you're watching this from. Delighted to be joining you for this Saturday evening final session.
So we've got some great events coming up for you. Here is the session. What's coming up? We've got multi-classification events for our para swimmers, and you can see there's quite a few of those coming up. Not in the 50 butterfly, so no para swimmers going through in that one, but all these other multi-classification events will go. That will be followed by B finals, and then the top able-bodied swimmers will go in the A finals, starting off with 200 IM. And all the way through to 2 freestyle relays to finish off this evening. What takes your fancy there, Alan, when you look at that list?
We've got some really exciting races in prospect, featuring some of our Commonwealth Games swimmers from the Gold Coast earlier on this year. I'm particularly interested in the women's 200 breaststroke with Cara Hanlon, who didn't make the team, but who's in sparkling form at the moment and is swimming extremely well.
Yes, so that should be a good one. We've got Bruce also was a near miss on the team, going in the 50 butterfly. Abby Houston, who was in the team, will be going head-to-head with Monique Olivier in the 400 freestyle. That could be an interesting one.
It could, and Jack Thorpe, of course, in the sprint event later on this evening, one of our relay medalists from Gold Coast.
Bronze medal in the 4x100. That was one for the history books, I guess. It's a long time since we've done that.
It certainly is, and hopefully more to come.
Yep, let's hope so. So it will be interesting to see what Jack can do on the 50 freestyle towards the end of the evening. So definitely one worth hanging on for. Might just have his sights on the Scottish record that's set by his erstwhile teammate, Richard Schaefer's.
Yeah, he just missed it at the Commonwealth Games, and I'm sure he'll be doing his damnedest to try and get that. This will be his last swim of the season this evening, so hopefully out with a flourish.
Yes, so we're just about ready to get going with our first final. This is the multi-classification men's 200 metres individual medley. Run through the field there. You can see there are 5 swimmers. Carl Hughes, North Lanarkshire, Oliver Carter of Carnegie, Chap Milne of Dundee City Aquatics, Connor Morrison of University of Aberdeen Performance Team, and John Law of the University of Stirling. I was delighted to get the pun in this morning that John Law winning his heats, nobody gets past the law.
Very punny, Duncan, very punny. Of course, 200 IM, 50 metres of each stroke, fly, back, breast and free, and this multi-classification event should see us spread the field out pretty quickly, given the disabilities of these 5 lads.
So off they go, and it is Chap Milne in the pink cap, and beside him Connor Morrison in the lane 5 there in the dark cap. These are both SM14 swimmers. That's swimmers with learning impairments, so you'd expect them to be the fastest. They certainly were this morning, 2:21 and 2:23. Then we've got the physical impairments, Oliver Carter, SM10, Carl Hughes, SM9, and visual impairment swimmer John Law in lane 6.
Connor Morrison is the world short course record holder for 100 metres breaststroke, set earlier on this season. So in this third leg of the 200 IM, we'd expect Connor to feature really strongly and come through, probably to take the lead at the end of this lap.
He's 2 seconds back at halfway, 106.82 against 108.82. So, but as you predicted, Alan, he is moving right up now on Jack Milne. Jack will come back at him, I would think, in the freestyle, so this could be very interesting. I think good competitive race to get us going.
It's a great race, and Connor Morrison, of course, will be into the Para-European Championships in Dublin just after the big event here in Glasgow in August, and he'll be joined by his Scottish teammate, British teammate Scott Quinn in that 100 metres breaststroke. 50 to go. Jack Milne hoping to close the gap on Conor Morrison.
So that 2-second Milne lead turned into a 1.3-second Morrison lead in the breaststroke. But here comes Jack Milne. Those red markers signify half a length to go. And Jack Milne is definitely coming back at Conor Morrison now. This is going to be a really close race to get us started here, because Conor Morrison is holding off Jack Milne at the moment as they come into the final 5. But now they are stroke for stroke as they come in. And it was Milne who got it, 2:21.85 against 2:22.02 for Conor Morrison. Fantastic stuff to see too, such evenly matched with different skill sets, but over the course of the 4 strokes there was really nothing in it.
What a terrific race to start us off this evening, hot on the heels of that great football match between France and Argentina, 4-3 thriller. We've got a cracking, thrilling race to start us off this evening as the final swimmer touches the pads. Great effort by all 5 men.
And of course we don't know the result yet, because the times will be converted into British para points, and it'll be the swimmer with the highest number of points. So there is the result on times. We know that Milne will be ahead of Morrison because they're the same classification, but we don't know whether Oliver Carter may possibly be promoted. I suspect not. I think that might be the order, Milne, Morrison, Carter, but we do need to wait and get confirmation of that. And in fact I have that now, and it is Milne first, Morrison second, and Carter third. Great stuff there. Just a little bit of time to get the para swimmers out of the pool before we move to the B final. So these for the swimmers who just didn't quite make the top 10, but it does give them an excellent chance of a second evening swim, which is great experience. So they are ready to go. Referee's arm goes out. The starter sets them off. Liam Birrell of City of Leeds in 0. Ruben Visda, City of Sheffield in 1. Ben Cope of Royal Wolverhampton School in 2. Ryan Retson of First in 3. Mark Walsh of Munster in 4. Miles Stirk of City of Leeds in 5. Jamie McDonald of Warrender in 6. Jordan McPhail of Natari in 7. Fraser Allison of Warrender in 8, and Jamie Allison of Swim Ulster in lane 9.
No relation, of course, those 2 swimmers in the outside lanes nearest us here in the commentary position, and it's a really strong start, as you might expect, from the fastest qualifier from this morning's heats.
2:12.77 Mark Walsh. We've got a really strong group of Irish youth swimmers over here in Tollcross this week. If you're listening to us from Ireland, a warm welcome to you, and you're seeing some of your finest youngsters going here. Mark Walsh in 4 has just been overtaken now by the Leeds man Miles Stirk. 101.36 for Miles, 101.48 for Walsh, so only a 10th in it at halfway.
Nice rollover turn there by the City of Leeds man. Miles Stirk making the most of the opportunity to switch strokes from backstroke to breaststroke, and he's extending that lead on this 3rd lap with a very strong swim coming up from Jamie McDonald. Warren de Bass also on this breaststroke leg.
So we saw what a difference breaststroke can make in the multi-classification final. It's less so here, as the leadsman Miles Stirk is holding the lead that he had going into the breaststroke. He's increased it a little bit, up to nearly half a second now. McDonald now 2nd, and 3rd Walsh as they come down the final length.
A great feature of the racing over the last couple of days has been the competition, has been the racing itself, and we're in for a cracking, thrilling finish here in the last 15 metres.
So let's see who's going to get it, because Jamie McDonald has got the bit between his teeth here. So this is another one that is going to be on the touch between Stirk and McDonald. Who gets it? It's McDonald this time, just 0.03 of a second in it. 2:10.84 for Jamie McDonald, 2:10.87 Miles Stirk.
And those are nice improvements from this morning's heats times. Exactly what the swimmers and the coaches will be looking for, whether they're personal best times or not. Progressing from the heats to the finals is exactly what's required at this stage of the season, with just probably 1 or possibly 2 meets left for these swimmers over the summer period.
So the result up on the screen there, and here you see them coming in. I can tell you that Jamie McDonald came into this meet on a 2:11.9, so that's a nice improvement over a second for him. 2:10.87 for Miles Stark. I think that's probably an improvement as well. Just looking, no, not quite actually. 2:07.9 was the time he came into the meet on. But two cracking races to start us off, Alan.
If that pattern continues for the rest of the evening, there'll be not a breath drawn. It's a fantastic start, and hopefully this A final will continue the same.
So introducing the swimmers there in lane 0 from Connaught is Killian Medley. Beside him in lane 1, George Clough of the University of Stirling. Then we've got 2 Loughborough swimmers, James Brown, the Northern Ireland man, in 2, and Fraser Minican in lane 3. Ben Griffin was the fastest qualifier, representing Leinster in lane 4. James McFadden, also Loughborough University, goes in 5, and Joe Litchfield, who represented England in the Commonwealth Games, he's in 6. Jacob Jackson, Ellesmere College, in 7. Jonathan Milner of City of Leeds in 8. And Felix Gifford completes the field for the University of Stirling in lane 9.
My favourite for this event would almost certainly be Joe Litchfield from Loughborough University. Watch for his underwater work on fly, back and freestyle.
So Joe Litchfield, the younger brother of Max, who of course has been a core part of the British scene for the last few years. In fact, I believe has performed with some distinction in Rome.
Earlier on today, he certainly did, back from a shoulder injury which took him out of the Commonwealth Games. The elder brother of Joe, who's just behind here after this first 50 of the 200 IM.
So it is James McFadden, 26.06, leading the way at the 50.
But as I predicted, the underwater work of Joe Litchfield is keeping him in touch in this race. Super work on the underwater fly.
So keep a good eye on that. Joe in lane 6 in the white cap there, just right beside James McFadden. So it is lanes 5 and 6 at the moment. The Irishman Ben Griffin in the blue cap is in 3rd spot at the moment in lane 4. So that's the order as they go through halfway. McFadden 57.96, Litchfield 58.39, and Griffin 58.78.
Strong halfway turn though coming through. Griffin is beginning to make an impact on the lead, but Joe Litchfield's still in touch, and as I suspect, as they come out of this breaststroke to freestyle turn, Litchfield will be ahead.
It's certainly looking that way now. He's just, well, I'm not sure. McFadden is going into the turn, certainly has the lead. Let's see what happens as they come out. 133.96. See that underwater work from Litchfield, and well, very prescient, Alan.
Super work from Joe Litchfield. I've seen him do that in training. It's not an accident. He practices it, he perfects it, and he's using it to good effect here.
So can Griffin or McFadden come back at him? It's Griffin who is putting the push on, but it's going to be Litchfield who takes this one. So that turn was the key there and brought him home in 2:03.17. Came 2:09 this morning, so big improvement on that. And well, 1:59 was his last season best time. He was entered on 2:03 here as he comes into his main competition peak, I suppose, over the next month or two.
Yeah, that's a good strong swim from him. Certainly the racing skills were excellent, and once he takes a little bit of rest into his final performance of the season at the British Summer Championships, he will probably challenge that best time from last season.
Just looking down the order, you can see that George Clough was the top Scot out of lane 2, finishing 7th place, 2:08.25. So he'll be the Scottish champion, but Litchfield, the winner there. Ben Griffin was silver medalist. James McFadden will take the bronze. 400 freestyle is next up, our first sighting of the ladies. And again, we start with a multi-classification final. We've got 6 swimmers going in this one. Lane 2 is North Lanarkshire's Erin Swan. She swims as an S10. So does the swimmer next to her, Beth Johnson of Best. Tony Shaw of Aberdeen Performance swimming S9 in lane 4. She's the fastest of these ones, and we expect her probably to be the big favourite here. Hope Gordon, also S9, goes beside her, representing East Lothian. She's in 5. Grace Harvey, S6, so she has the most severe disability, representing Hoddesdon in lane 6. And Genevieve Hunter, swimming S8 for South Lanarkshire, is in lane 7. Tony Shaw must have really enjoyed her time at the Gold Coast, I guess. 14 years and representing your country at the Commonwealth Games.
And she embraced the whole experience with a smile on her face and an open mind to every piece of learning she could get. She was an absolute pleasure to have on the team.
So away they go. Tony, in fact, set a new Scottish record this morning, 4:47.79. So it'll be interesting to see if she can take a bit more time off that. That's in the S10 classification, as I said. S9 classification, I should say, apologies.
Swimming alongside her is Beth Johnson from the Borders elite swim team. She also was in Gold Coast from the 200 IM at those Commonwealth Games, and both Tony and Beth, as I said, really approached and embraced the whole experience, and will have taken much learning from the opportunities given to them. Here, 400 freestyle is all about pacing. Whatever time the girls are aiming for and going to do, really important for them to set a good cadence, a good tempo, and then maintain as even a pace as they possibly can for the duration of this race.
So as expected, Tony is going off to a big lead here, coming down towards the 100. Get the split as she goes through, and that is 1:08.32.
It's a really strong, positive swim from Tony this morning, setting that record in 4:47. Ordinarily, with that first 100 pace, she should be closer to 4:40 than 4:50.
This 14-year-old, and probably butterfly maybe her strongest discipline, would you say, Alan?
I think it probably is, or probably will be. The amazing thing for her at the Commonwealth Games was all of her main opposition were Paralympic gold medalists or medalists, and it was a really tough challenge for her to get on the podium, but she just missed it on a couple of narrow occasions, and she's certainly setting the pace here with a super strong swim over the first 150 metres.
You can see as we pan through that Beth Johnson and Hope Gordon not too far apart behind Tony. We'll get another view of them as Tony turns later on. At the moment you can see just how far back they are. Nobody else in shot, even when we go to the wide view camera, as Tony coming up to halfway. So we'll see what her split is here and what that bodes for what is to come. 2:20.44, so pacing around 1:12 there for her second 100, so it's looking good.
It is looking good for her, and if she hasn't gone off too fast and can maintain that pace, it should be another personal best, another Scottish record time. Beth and Hope, who were around the 5:31 mark this morning, just about a second apart there, 2:40 and 2:41, again on pace to go faster than their heat swims.
So with the disability that Tony has, how does it impact her freestyle?
Because she's breathing to both sides and she's able to maintain balance in her stroke, it really doesn't affect her too much at all. I mean, it's a really lovely stroke. She may not get as much propulsion from her right arm, but as we see her there, that really is a super classic freestyle stroke. Nice even leg kick, good balance to stroke, breathing to both sides, and she really is making the most of this opportunity.
So coming up towards 300 metres now. If she was to manage another 1:12, we'd be looking at 3:32 here. We're going to be a little bit slower than that, 3:30.387. So still, I think, on track for an improvement on this morning's time.
Certainly hope so, and it's tough swimming on your own, but Tony Shaw is a tough cookie herself, and she will make sure that over this last 75 metres she really pushes on and tries to establish that new standard.
You see they're just going past, lapping Genevieve Hunter. She'll need to focus on her swim, 7:06, so big range of times between these para swimmers, as you would expect. But final turn then for Tony, 4:10.97, so that was around a 37 there. Add another 37 to that, and you get a time, well, around about the time that she did this morning, 4:47. So maybe just finding it a little tough in this final 100.
I think so, and the 68 first 100 is certainly taking its toll now as she approaches the last 25 metres or so, but she's kicking hard, she's finishing strongly, and I think she'll just be inside that standard from this morning.
She's getting good support from her University of Aberdeen performance teammates here now as she comes in. Let's look at the time. It is faster than this morning, 4:47.09, so she knocks another 7/10 off that Scottish record. And it's not her first Scottish record of this week, so very well done, Tony. Continuing to make progress after the Commonwealth Games. Well, I guess that's the joy of being 14, that every time you go into a serious competition, you get faster.
And if those best times are national records, then you continue to set them as well.
Absolutely. Now here come the second and third place swimmers. So Beth Johnson has got enough in hand to see off Hope Gordon. In the end, about 4 meters between them. Beth 5:27.52, so she takes 4 seconds plus off her time from the heats, and Hope 5:31.01. So she was 5:31.45 in the heat, so 4/10 faster. Entered on a 5:40, so she's had a good day. 5:40 to 5:31 mid, and then 5:31 low. Beth Johnson came in on a 5:35, so to improve that to 5:27, you can't complain at that. So some really good swims here. Here comes the 4th place swimmer, Erin Swan. And she comes in 6:09.75. Slightly faster again than she was in the heats. And again, looking at her entry time, 6:21, so another one who's made good progress.
And that's exactly what all of the swimmers and all of the events will be aiming to do, set best times if they can and make progress from heats to finals. And the crowd here and the swimmers just beginning to get behind Genevieve Hunter from South Lanarkshire, who also swam really well this morning, got a bit of social media traction from her East Kilbride and South Lanarkshire team. It's a fantastic opportunity for her, and let's see if she can move on that time from the heats.
So 7:06 was her time in the heat. You can see her coming in here, and the clock just clocking into 7 minutes, so she is going to be faster. 7:03.49 for Genevieve. So some excellent times there. I think 5 of the 6 swimmers coming in with faster times than they started this meet with.
And interesting, coaches will preach about skills and about process all the time. The keen-eyed observers there will have noticed that Genevieve Hunter finished the last 5 meters without breathing, picked up a stroke rate and really hit the wall as hard as she could. Super swim, well done.
So that will please the South Lanarkshire coaching contingent. Can confirm that the 1, 2, 3, it's different from the order that they came in. First was Tony Shaw in that new Scottish record time, but second was the Hodston swimmer Grace Harvey, her time 6:19.47, of course S6 swimmer, the biggest disability, and Beth Johnson takes the bronze. So that will be the 1, 2, 3. On to the B final now of the women's 400 freestyle. They are right ready to go. Run through the field. We have Isabel Goodwin of City of Leeds in 0. Safi Kabani of City of Sheffield in 1. So nice Yorkshire battle over there. Rasheen Ramsey of Warrender in 2. Melanie Hall of City of Sheffield in 3. Nikki Miller of South Lanarkshire in 4. Mia Leach of Swim England's East Region in 5. Alice Alcaraz of Aberdeen Performance in 6. Alicia Dingle, Royal Wolverhampton School in 7. Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen in 8. And Emma Russell of Heart of Midlothian in lane 9.
A lot of younger interest from the Scottish contingent in this race. Roisin Ramsey, Nikki Miller, Alice Alcaraz, Emma Russell, and Rebecca Reid, all vying for good times, good performances, several of them part of our national programme. A couple of them were with us in Cannes in France just 2 or 3 weeks ago as part of the Project Ailsa programme, and competed against some of the very, very best female swimmers in the world and learned lots and lots from that experience. Just a little technical delay, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite sure what the issue is. Well, I think there might be just a query on the result on the multi-classification race, so whether there is a technical report come in that they then need to assess against the exemptions that the swimmers have. But there's a little conflab going on with the referee.
On the screen we have some young swimmers from East Kilbride who are here as guests and are learning all about what it takes to be at the National Championships, and most of that nutrition, I think, was receiving a tick on the box from the coaches and parents. I won't point out the not so compliant nutrition, but good on them, and I hope they have a fantastic experience this evening.
Of course, a fantastic venue, Tollcross, and it'll be hosting the European Championships in not too far away now, just over a month.
The pool will look remarkably different in a few weeks' time for those European Championships. Of course, Tollcross, the home of the Commonwealth Games in 2014, with some great swims hopefully on offer.
So I think we are now ready to go with this B final. The swimmers have been called back to the blocks. So away they go. 4:29 up to 4:33 was the range of times from the heat. I would expect them to, or most of them anyway, to go a bit faster than that. Nice close shot of our youth squad member Emma Russell there at the bottom of the screen, the Heart of Midlothian swimmer.
Lovely long rangy stroke, good strong 6-beat kick. And let's see how many of these girls are able to do what Joe Litchfield did in his Tournament IM and really use that underwater fly kicking. Not as far as I would like to see them, Duncan. That's something for them to work on.
So I'm sure the coaches will be watching that, and I suppose it's something. Is it a strength thing, particularly for young swimmers in a middle distance race like this, to do that strong butterfly kick on every turn, on all the turns in a 400? Is that something that you have to develop the strength to do?
It is, and we were down in Wales last weekend running a joint youth camp with Swim Wales, and that was exactly the message that we were giving to the swimmers, is work on those underwater skills, because they really can make a difference to your middle distance and shorter distance freestyle swimming.
Melanie Hall leading at the 100, 1:02.96. So she will be looking to make an impact here. Just got a bit of a gap over Nikki Miller in lane 4. Nikki out in the States and back in the summer with her home club of South Lanarkshire.
She is indeed. She's at the University of Florida in Gainesville. She swam for Great Britain last summer, back end of the summer at the World Junior Championships in Indianapolis, her first British cap, and really has benefited from the experience, come back positive, and has learned a lot from the American program, and looking to improve from swim to swim at the end of this 2018 season.
So it's still pretty close, 3 going through halfway, led by Melanie Hall, 10:20. Miller second and Leach third, just 6/10 between the three of them.
None of these girls going to threaten their best times, the lifetime best times, I think, at this meet, but it's a great race for the 3 girls up front. Opportunity for them to strategically break away at the right moment, move ahead of their competitors, and begin to force what might be a long, fast swim for home.
So when would you really sort of get yourself really pushing hard in a 400?
When your opponents least expect it, I think, is the obvious answer. But, well, if they can swim at even pace or negative split, then that would be at the halfway mark. But certainly by this time, they should be winding it up. And I think that's just exactly what's happening with Mia Leach.
as in the white cap there. Nice to have this Swim England East Region team up here in Glasgow. Another young team. We talked about the Irish youth team and a great youth team from Swim England East Region, the East Anglia and thereabouts. But it's Miller, 3:18.03, just got the touch at the 300. Nikki Miller in that darker cap in between the other two. She was the fastest of these this morning and just opening up the gap a little bit now as we come down towards the final turn.
She is the most experienced and probably the fastest on paper coming into the meet. We would expect her to win. And there are races all across the pool here. At this near side, there's 4 swimmers almost on a line, in addition to these 3 who are battling it out for the first 3 places.
Nice turn from Mia Leach there. She got a little bit of a jump there on Nikki Miller, so Nikki has to respond to that. Half a length to go. It looks like she does have the lead still, but, well, this is another close affair with Nikki Miller, maybe half a metre to a metre up now as they come in. I think Melanie Hall, the early leader, is going to have to settle for third, but Miller doing enough. I think she knew exactly there where Mia Leach was and what she had to do, and comes in 4:23.96, so increasing her tempo there in that final 100. She was on 68, 67, 68, and down to 65, 66 on that last 100.
And I think that's where experience shows. She has swum faster than that. She knows what it's like to be at that pace. And every time she swims at the moment, Nikki Miller is getting quicker and quicker, just as she did last season. And we'll be looking for her to drop back under 4:20 again, hopefully at those British Summer Championships at Sheffield in a few weeks' time.
The swimmers coming out now for the A final, as we see the girls leaving the pool from the B final. And focusing now on to this senior final, the A final. We've got a full lineup of swimmers. So we're watching the swimmers coming out. There they are. Tara Hayworth, Edinburgh University there in that black and red cap, blue and red actually. Then we have Emily Clark of Loughborough in the purple. Lane 2 is another great youngster, Arbroath St Thomas's Sophie Smith. In 3, Phoebe Griffiths of Ellesmere College. Monique Olivier, the Luxembourg swimmer based in Edinburgh. She goes in 4th, fastest qualifier. Beside her, Commonwealth Games athlete Abby Houston from City of Sheffield. Jemima Hall of Wickham District in 6. Katie Shanahan, talking about promising youngsters, she certainly fits that category. She goes in lane 7 for City of Glasgow. Second, Ellesmere College swimmer Anna Smale in 8, and second, Glasgow swimmer Lauren Wetherall in lane 9. So away they go. 4:23, the fastest time this morning. Monique Olivier, good seasoned professional. She's been around the block a bit.
And yeah, she swam in Cannes for her university team, Edinburgh, at south of France a couple of weeks ago. Swam well, made some second swim evening opportunities. Her and she rather and Abby Houston setting the pace on this first 50, and I think by the end of the race they'll probably still be battling it out for the first and second place.
It's just going through the turn. It is Monique Olivier, 29.56, quarter of a second up on Abby Houston, with Jemima Hall there in just to the bottom of the yellow cap. She's in 3rd spot at the turn. Olivier just opening that gap up a bit, looking very smooth here.
Staying in touch with the early leaders, you mentioned her in the introduction, Duncan. Katie Shanahan from the hometown club, City of Glasgow. She won the 400 IM on the first evening, and will certainly be in shape to stay in touch if she can keep pace with them over the next 300 metres.
So we'll keep an eye on that as we go. You can see her there in the blue cap with that big white G on it in lane 6, but it is Olivier in 4, Houston in 5, setting the pace here, coming up to the 150. Olivier goes through 134.64, 7/10 up on Abby Houston, with Jemima Hall 3rd, Katie Shanahan 4th.
Jemima Hall, a very good heat swim this morning to qualify for this final. She swam out in lane 9 in one of the early heats. Set that time of 4:27 to get herself into one of the middle lanes, and is looking nice and smooth, staying in touch. Her and Katie Shanahan certainly looking like they've got a battle on this side, but it's Olivier who's going to take the turn at the halfway mark comfortably ahead.
2:07.44, so just around 66 and a bit. Second 100 split, leads by a bit over a second now.
And to get a gauge, to get a comparison of standards, to make the final last night in Rome at the Seven Hills meet took a 4:15 in the heats, and all of the girls who were in that final improved, and the slowest person in the final was a 4:14. So that's probably out with the reach of Monique at the moment, but she's not far away from that world class field and setting the pace over in Rome.
And she is gradually building her lead over Abby Houston. So if you're Abby here, what would you be looking to do? And you're certainly conscious of where you are relative to Monique. Is it just about focusing on your own race now, or are you going to try and do something about this lead?
It's difficult to make inroads in that lead. If she was on Monique's ankles or even on her hips, it would be a cracking race over the last 100. But I think she's just got to focus on staying ahead of everyone else, doing her own swim over the last 100 metres, kicking strongly. If she can get in touch, fine. If not, then keep working on finishing strong.
So Monique then now nearly 2.5 seconds up as we go into the final 100. And you can see there, first and second looks pretty clear, but there's a good race on for third.
There really is, and these two over at this side, Jemima Hall and Katie Shanahan, battling it out. I think over the far side, everyone else is out of the race now. Let's see what young Katie has over the last 50 metres.
So going into that final 50, 3:45.61 for Olivia, 3:48 for Houston. It was Jemima Hall, but only by a couple of tenths ahead of Katie Shanahan as they come down. But Jemima in the green cap of Wickham looks like she's got third now, pretty much sewn up. Pushing on is Phoebe Griffiths in lane 3. She's now challenging Katie Shanahan for fourth place, but it's a good win from Monique Olivier, 4:17.78 for her. That's right on the sort of time she came into this meet with, so good form from her at this time of the season.
It is. She has one more competition before the European Championships back here in Tollcross. She'll compete in the German Open in Berlin in a couple of weeks' time, put her final preparations to bed, and she'll be back here hoping to break her Luxembourg national record and perhaps get herself a second swim.
So just confirming there, the 1, 2, 3, Monique Olivier, Abby Houston and Jemima Hall. Abby Houston will be the top Scot and Katie Shanahan the top Scottish junior. Good swim again from Katie.
Yeah, another best time from her. She's put a solid 3 days in so far, and she'll be taking all of that good form to Sheffield, where she'll be competing against the best of Great Britain in her age at those British Summer Championships.
So we have the first of our presentations now. This is the multi-classification athletes from the men's 200 IM. Bronze medalist coming up there. It's Jim the Swim Anderson making the presentations. What a legend he is.
That's fantastic to see Jim here. Of course, a swimming enthusiast, a fantastic ambassador for the sport, Paralympic, multiple medalist, multiple gold medalist, and doing a great job of presenting to these boys.
Oliver Carter, the bronze, and there's Connor Morrison with the silver, but just nicking it from him. Gold medalist from Dundee City Aquatics, Chap Milne. He looks pretty pleased with life.
He does, and it's a real thrill for these boys to receive their medals from Jim the Swim Anderson.
Seen a lot of Scottish para records go this week, and Scottish para swimming doing pretty well.
Doing really well. My colleague Paul Wilson heads up that part of the business and does a great job liaising with clubs and coaches, finding new talent and making sure that the talent that is there is developed and nurtured in the right way.
So So here are the able-bodied medalists. This was another really good race. Bronze medalist James McFadden, representing Loughborough University. Silver medalist from Leinster, Ben Griffin. And the Open champion, Joe Litchfield of Loughborough. Those excellent skills that Alan was talking about. And the Scottish champion, George Clough from the University of Stirling.
That's an imposter, of course. Those of you who know this University of Stirling swimmers will know that that is Scott McLean. It's not George Clough, who will be swimming in another event later on and is therefore swimming down.
And the junior champion, Angus Allison, who just missed out on the B final. He was second reserve, but he was the top Scot, 16 or under.
Recently moved from Inverleith to Warrender. Fiona Anderson, his coach at Inverleith, done a terrific job with him and will be very pleased with that swim.
We go to the 400 freestyle women's presentations now, starting with the multi-classification athletes. Jim's there to do the honours again. So the bronze medalist from the borders, Beth Johnson, the S10 swimmer.
And that must have been what the delay was about, the clarification on the ranking of the swimmers here. Tony Shaw ending up in second place, in fact, in that 400 free.
Yep, that's an interesting one, isn't it? So it just shows that it doesn't matter if you were miles ahead, doesn't matter if you broke the Scottish record, not necessarily the winner, and it's Grace Harvey of Hoddesdon who gets the gold. Her time 5:34.72 in the S6 category. Of course, GB S6 athletes, just there's so many great ones, aren't there?
Well, GB Para Swimming is incredibly strong too, and they will be sending their best and their strongest swimmers to Dublin for those Para-Europeans immediately on the back of the European Championships here in Glasgow.
To the able-bodied 400 freestyle presentation now. Alison Lowe, the president of the Scottish Amateur Swimming Association, doing the honours here. Bronze medalist from Wickham, Jemima Hall, 4:22.21. Huge improvement on 4:33 she came into this meeting. She did actually do a 4:23 at the Southeast Regionals a month or so ago, but improves on that again to 4:22, so good progress. Silver medalist Abby Houston, 4:21.39, City of Sheffield, and the Open champion, the Luxembourg swimmer from Edinburgh University, Monique Olivier, 4:17.78. So Monique, of course, not a Scot, so top Scot, Abby Houston. She gets a gold medal in recognition of that. And the junior in that super time, 4:24.34, junior champion Katie Shannon of the City of Glasgow. Made quite a few trips to the podium so far this week.
I think the medal bearer there, one of our young teammates, looking up to her literally and metaphorically, I think.
Yes, it is great to have role models like that. I mean, she's only 14, that already she's a role model for the youngsters in the City of Glasgow programme.
Undoubtedly, she and her teammates very much are, and it's great to see these youngsters getting the opportunity to rub shoulders with these best swimmers and hopefully be inspired to continue to work hard and be on the podium themselves one day.
So we'll be getting underway again, back to the swimming. Again, we've got a multi-classification event coming up next. We're back to the men, and it's 100 breaststroke. Swimmers just making their way out now. So we take a little breath.
We will be seeing a couple of the swimmers who've just been on the podium, receiving the medals from Jim Anderson, Jack Milne and Conor Morrison. It is Conor's best event. He is world ranked number 2 in this event. In his classification, just behind, as I mentioned earlier, Scott Quinn, who's not here. He's in the sunshine and rarefied air of Flagstaff for an altitude training camp.
Very nice for him. So running through the field here for this multi-classification final. In lane 1, we have Neil Ferguson swimming SB7 for East Lothian. 2 is Rhys Gill, SB9 from Ethan. Jack Milne, SB14, so as we said, just saw him on the podium from Dundee City Aquatics. This time I think Conor Morrison is likely to get the better of him, also SB14 for Aberdeen Performance. Another SB14 swimmer, Gavin Roberts of City of Glasgow, is in 5. Lewis Beagrie swimming SB9 from South Lanarkshire in 6. And Isaac Dunning completes the field from Inverclyde swimming SB8. So the B in that just signifies breaststroke. They have different classifications for breaststroke because sometimes the disabilities have a different impact because of the specialist nature of the stroke. But you would certainly expect Conor Morrison really to put on a bit of a masterclass here, Alan.
You really should, and he's had a great start, great reaction time, good underwater work, and setting off at a pretty good pace here. Conor Morrison, best time I think is in the 107 range. You'll have that information to correct me if I'm wrong, Duncan, but he's being matched pretty well at the moment down the first 50. Gavin Roberts giving him a good run for his money.
Yep, 107.34 he did at the British Para International, so you're right on the money there, Alan. 32.39 for him at the turn, so that's pretty healthy first 50 split, I would say, and Gavin Roberts is putting in a storming swim here.
This is a terrific swim from him. He's really challenging one of the world's best in this event. Conor, of course, will be slightly fatigued from the 200 IM, and he's forcing his way through the last 15 metres, but this is a very encouraging swim from Gavin Roberts.
He came in on a 1:13, but he did do a 1:11 also at British Para International, but it is going to be Morrison, as you would expect. 1:11.24, only 0.8 up on Roberts, so they're both SB14 swimmers, so they will certainly be in that position relative to each other. Jack Milne third home, 1:14.73. Then you have to start thinking about the people with other classifications. Lewis Beagrie fourth back, 1:22.70, SB9. So those four quite a long way ahead of the next group, which is led by Reskill, 1:42.55, pretty much bang on the time he did this morning. Isaac Dunning next home, 1:49.16, and Neil Ferguson, 16-year-old from East Lothian, was a 2:04 this morning. Is just going to be over the 2 minutes again, but it's going to be faster than that, 2:02.45 for him. So again, we need to just wait for the points to be converted, but you'd expect it to be the SB14 swimmers that will dominate there.
I think it should with those times. Conor and Jack, as we watched earlier, swam the 200 IM, a little bit fatigued, the times perhaps not so important as the effort and the execution, the competition and the racing, which will stand them in good stead for other performances later this year. Great finish there from Conor, looking pretty fatigued, pretty tired, and he's not too chuffed with the time when he turns around and sees the scoreboard either.
So I have now got the results, and it was the three SB14 swimmers, first, second and third: Conor Morrison, Gavin Roberts and Jack Milne, the 1, 2, 3. B final now. Swimmers all ready and raring to go. James Bilbao of Ellesmere College in 0. Lewis Bailey of Dundee City Aquatics in 1. Finlay Cousins of University of Aberdeen Performance in 2. Aaron Dolan of North Lanarkshire in 3. Sandy Forisiak of City of Glasgow in 4. John Keane, West Lothian in 5. Morgan Berriman of University of Stirling in 6. Ewan Leslie of Edinburgh University in 7. Ross Neely of City of Glasgow in 8. Andrew Hosey of City of Glasgow in lane 9. Very little in it in terms of their times this morning. 1:07.7 Sandy Forisiak, 1:07.88 John Keane. John Keane has picked up junior medals in both the 50 and the 200 breaststroke, so we'd like to make the hat trick here.
He was the British champion last year for 15-year-olds on the 100 and 200 breaststroke, so certainly the form swimmer of the younger guys in this race, but not going to win this particular event, but looking strong coming down the second 50. Finlay Cousins from Aberdeen Performance was with us in Wales a couple of weekends ago. A very promising young swimmer, very open to learning and very coachable, and he'll be looking for a strong swim down this last 50.
Aaron Dolan went off like a scalded cat, and he is leading the way for North Lanarkshire. He's very much a 50 specialist. They are coming back at him hard here in the closing stages. This is getting really tight as they come into the wall. Dolan just did enough to hold on there. Oh, that was hard for him at the end there, but he just managed it. 107.32, and you see, whoa, wow, that was hard.
That was tough. He had a piano on his back, I think, down that second 50, managed just to hold on. Strong finish from John Keane. I think that's his best time of the season so far.
Certainly it's 4/10 faster than he was in the heats this morning, and that will make him once again the junior champion. So he has done the hat trick. Very well done to him. Finley Cousins was the only person who could have taken that away from him, but it was John Keane with that second place finish who gets the junior medal. We'll see that shortly.
Here come the men, here come the big guys. Very strong favourite here, former world junior champion, double Olympic swimmer and Commonwealth Games swimmer Craig Benson will go for us here in lane number 5. But he's up against some stiff competition from some other guys who've been doing well over the last 3 days.
Yeah, we'll just run through the lineup for you. Zane Cook of Munster there in the red cap in lane 0. George Clough, his second swim of the night. University of Stirling in 1. Mark Campbell, Commonwealth Games athlete from the University of Aberdeen Performance in 2. Carl Boyack of Stockport Metro in 3. Edward Baxter is the fastest qualifier from Loughborough. He goes in 4. Then it's Craig Benson of the University of Stirling. Oliver Crosby of City of Sheffield in 6. Daniel Lim, who's been really strong so far this week. He goes in 7 for Edinburgh University. Cameron Muir of City of Glasgow in 8. And Jonathan Milner from City of Leeds in lane 9. So Benson, winner in the 50. We was pipped to the post by Tobermory, Mackay champion in the 200. Tobermory not here in the 100, so you'd fancy him here, I would think.
You would think. He is the fastest swimmer on form. I had a chat with him this morning before he went into the warm-up pool, and he's been really pleased with what he's done this week so far, and I think this will put the icing on the cake. He's not swimming tomorrow, so he can put one final effort in and get a nice rest.
So he was 103 this morning. Obviously has been around about the minute of his best time. So we expect him to do what, 102 something maybe here?
That would be great. He'd be delighted with that. He didn't swim that fast last year, and he went 59.6 at Sheffield in those British Summer Champs. His teammate Ross Murdoch went 61.0 last night in Rome. So anything close to that would be fantastic. But in the 102s, Craig will be really pleased with.
29.20 for him at the halfway mark. He does lead, but not by a huge amount here. You can see they're all gathered around him just a metre or so back. Campbell, Boyack, Baxter, Crosby, all there or thereabouts, but it is going to be Benson is holding that metre or so's advantage. Looks like Baxter will take second place. He does 102.17, so well, we talked about maybe getting into the 102s. He almost got into the 101s there, so that was good stuff there.
He'll be very pleased with that. I think he'll be satisfied with his 3 days work, earned his rest tomorrow, and he'll be looking to get some rest in before those British Summer Champs, shave that moustache and beard off his chinny chin, and hopefully perform as well as he did this time last year.
Edward Baxter second, 102.91, so a nice swim from him as well, Loughborough swimmer. Oliver Crosby gets third place there, 103.28. They will be 1-2-3. So we're seeing some excellent racing, aren't we?
We really are, and that's been, as I said earlier, a feature of this weekend's work. It's a national championship event, of course, titles at stake. And racing is the way to get those titles. Get your hand on the wall, get your hands onto that touchpad and make sure that you win your race.
So we go back to the women now, and it's 100 backstroke now. Again, we start with the multi-classification event. We've got 4 swimmers here, including a world record holder, so that's going to be exciting. Amy McFarlane goes S14 for North Lanarkshire in 1. Hope Gordon, her second swim for East Lothian S9 swimmer, is in 2. Beth Johnson also has been busy already. She swims for Best in 3 S10. Then it's Alice Ty, the world record holder from Bournemouth College, swimming S8, just recently been reclassified from 9 to 8. Tony Shaw, University of Aberdeen Performance, after that good swim from her earlier in the 400 free. Pretty quick return, S9. Then Keris Venter-Scott, S14 swimmer from Carnegie in 6. Grace Harvey, after that gold medal from Hoddesdon, swimming S6 in lane 7. Genevieve Hunter, swimming S8 for South Lanarkshire in lane 8. So Alice Tighe, be interesting to see how far she can go here.
Talked about Jim Anderson earlier as being a legend in the para-swimming world in Scotland. One of the world's best ever para-swimmers, male or female. Sophie Pascoe from New Zealand won a couple of gold medals in Gold Coast, and she's on a 6-month training stint in the UK. We're looking forward to seeing her in a few weeks' time do her stuff at the British Champs in Sheffield.
So away they go. We actually have one more para swimmer to come in the B final. If they're fast enough to get in the B final, then that's where they swim, and that would be Bethany Firth. So we won't know the result of this until after Bethany has swum. So these women have to put in a strong performance and then hope it's good enough to see off Bethany. And it is Alice Tighe who is leading them in lane 4. 33.80 for her at the halfway mark.
This is really good backstroke swimming from Alice. As you said, Duncan, she's recently been reclassified, and she was an outstanding swimmer in her class prior to that reclassification, and she continues to be that. Look at that steady head, great stroke rate, nice balance there down the last 25 metres, and this is a classy swim from Alice Tighe.
And absolutely dominating in terms of the performance in the pool here. Let's see what the time is. This is really good. 109.07. The world record that she set, 108.26. So within a second, within 3/4 of a second of that world record. So Alice Tighe showing again superb skills there. Second home, Tony Shaw, 116.81. So a strong swim. Not long after a 400 free. She was inside the time she did this morning on not a lot of rest. And Beth Johnson, 119.45 for her, also faster than she was this morning, again in her second swim. So great stuff from the para ladies. Again, as I said, we have to wait for the performance from Bethany Firth to be scored against British para points. Nice shot there of Alice wearing the GB cap there, and she'll certainly be one that you would expect to have a very good performance in the Europeans in Dublin.
Oh, almost certainly, with that strong form that she's shown already this season, and despite the reclassification, she will be very much the person to beat in this event in Dublin.
In fact, even more, given that she's gone to a more disabled category, it's going to make it even harder for the others to try and have a go at her.
Yeah, she's gone on record as saying how disappointing it was, but also that she is not shirking from the challenge of what is, in effect, setting personal best times to set world records.
So 109.07 was Alice Tighe's time. Grace Harvey, 129.79, in fact, was the second highest para point scorer there, so she's guaranteed a medal. Tony Shaw at the moment lying third fastest, but as I said, Bethany Firth still to come. So to the B final now. Caroline McIntosh there with the bounce in lane 0 from Aberdeen Performance. Olivia Gardner of Ellesmere College in 1. Then there's Bethany Firth for Swim Ulster in lane 2. Helena Southwood of Ellesmere College in 3. Kate Kavanagh of Leinster in 4. Emily Osborne of Loughborough in 5. Hannah Featherstone of University of Stirling in 6. Isabel Gibbs of Connacht in 7. Serena Iguarum of City of Glasgow in 8. And Eve Wright of the East Region of Swim England in lane 9.
Backstroke, a particularly strong event in Scottish women's swimming. We have 3 swimmers on backstroke representing Great Britain back here at Tollcross at the European Championships, all 3 of whom are in Rome this weekend, and all 3 of whom swam the final of the 50 back in Rome last night, and 2 of whom are in the B final as we speak in Rome.
So why not get some tickets and come down here to watch them?
Absolutely, it'll be fantastic racing. You'll see some of the best people in the world, Olympic gold medalists galore, and as always, really fast swimming here at Tollcross International Swimming Centre.
So 105s and 106s was the heat times here. Good start over in 0. Caroline McIntosh, probably best known as a 50. So she's right up there in the mix. Didn't quite get the touch there at halfway. That was Emily Osborne, 31.22 from Hannah Featherston and Caroline McIntosh. And well, as we come down the second length, I think it's maybe lane 5 who's the favourite, Emily Osborne. Not home and hosed just yet, but it's looking more likely now that she is going to see them off. There's a great line of swimmers behind her, going well in 8 and trying to join them and getting second. Serena Iguarum, the youngster from City of Glasgow, so good swim from her, but it was Emily Osborne getting the touch in 104.67, so she improved by over a second on her heat swim. But nice swim from Serena there, particularly how strongly she finished.
It is, and she's better known as a butterfly swimmer, dabbles in some medley, but she'll be really pleased with that. I'm sure that's a personal best time for her in the 100 backstroke.
105.01 was that time. Let's see if I can find what time she came in on. 105.10, so 900ths. Yes, you just got there. Of course you knew that.
If only that were true, Duncan, if only that were true. But pleased for Serena, one of our aspiring young swimmers, has been part of the national programme now for a couple of years. When we say swimmers walk around with a smile on their face, she literally is the living embodiment of that. She is always, always smiling.
Yes, she certainly is. Remember, you can tweet on hashtag SNOC18. Give us your thoughts on what's going on, what you've enjoyed, supporting your favourite swimmer. And getting ready now, we have the A finalists for the women's 100 backstroke. There you are, have your say, hashtag SNOC18. So going in this A final, we have Kirsty Simpson of University of Aberdeen Performance, there in the white cap in 0. Emma Bell of Loughborough in 1. Caroline Lewitt of Natari in London in 2. Pia Murray of Ellesmere College in 3. Charlotte Evans at Loughborough University in 4. Sophie Hobber of the City of Leeds in 5. Molly Allen of Loughborough in 6. 7 is Emily Grant of University of Stirling. Holly Shepherd from Royal Wolverhampton School is in lane 8. And Ellis Shields, another very promising backstroke youngster from Mulgai and Bearsden, goes in lane 9.
Kirsty Simpson over on far side, lane 0, one of our more experienced senior female swimmers, and she is matched by Ellis Shields, as Duncan says, one of our promising juniors, British champion last year on the 200 backstroke from Mulgai and Bearsden.
So away they go. Charlotte Evans was the fastest qualifier from this morning's heats, 1:03.35. So let's see whether she can take that form into the heats. Out fairly much in a line here. Maybe lane 4 does just have the edge. Charlotte Evans came in with the fastest entry time, 1:01.49 from Kirsty Simpson and Molly Allen. At the turn, 30.66. With these senior swimmers, you wouldn't expect them to be getting PBs. It'd be the youngsters maybe can do that, but not the older ones so much.
Yeah, that's very much what we would expect. It's difficult not to swim a PB if you're an age group swimmer at this time of the season. Charlotte Evans, though, taking every opportunity she can to make sure that she's racing strongly, and she's going to take the win.
She's up by about a metre. It's tight for second, but it is Charlotte who gets it. Let's see who gets second. It just goes to Pia Murray, the Ellesmere College swimmer, in 1:03.38 by a 10th from the Leeds girl, Sophie Hobber. So that's the 1, 2, 3. Evans first, Murray second, Hobber third. Looking down the line, Emily Grant just touching out Kirsty Simpson to be the top Scot, and Ella Shields will be the top Scottish junior. All of those three 105s. Yeah, you see them coming in.
In fact, I think Serena Iguarum was faster, but the award will be made for the swimmer in the A final, the championship final. So missed opportunity for her, but good PB nonetheless.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. You have to be in it to win it, as they say.
Very, very true. And we're heading towards a longer distance event now. The men's 200 back, followed by the women's 200 breaststroke.
But before that, we've got medal presentations. So we'll just turn our focus, when you think about what's coming up there, to the medal podium. Starting with the 100 breaststroke gents and the bronze medalist. The trio of SB14 swimmers, so Chap Milne, his second medal of the night. Was over gold in the IM, bronze in the breaststroke, certainly not his strongest event by any means. And it was Gavin Roberts, what a good swim he had. Takes the silver, representing City of Glasgow. And the gold, Conor Morrison. What we hope, or he hopes certainly, will be a big season for him, perhaps looking to shine. Of course, he was unlucky. He was scheduled to go to Mexico, and then they had an earthquake on him, and it was delayed, and British Swimming decided that the revised timing just did not suit the para program.
Yeah, it was obviously a tragic incident for the people in Mexico, and it did result in British para swimming not taking part in those, or the World Championships in fact not taking place. And that would have been his first senior international experience, so he very much will be looking forward to that in Dublin next month.
So let's not have an earthquake in Dublin, please. If the Irish could organise that for us, we'd be grateful. So here we go with the men, and it's Oliver Crosby, the bronze medalist from City of Sheffield, Edward Baxter, the silver medalist from Loughborough, and a second breaststroke gold for Craig Benson from the University of Stirling. There's that moustache you were talking about. And the hat-trick of junior titles for West Lothian's John Keane.
Scottish Swimming Board member John Mason there making this series of presentations.
Women's backstroke presentation next to come up. Just wait for them to get themselves organised. View of our gallery there. So there's a big gallery in Tollcross. It'll be much fuller than that in the Europeans, I have no doubt.
The place will be rocking, I'm sure, if it's anything like Glasgow 2014.
Yes, I was in a commentary booth underneath that gallery, and sometimes it felt like the roof was going to fall in on us.
Creating an atmosphere is so important for sport, and Tollcross is one of the best swimming atmospheres there is.
So just focusing then, Grace Harvey, the bronze medalist. There's Bethany Firth, her swim in the B final, gained her the silver medal, but Alice Ty's swim, that time of 1:09:07 in the S8 category, earns her the gold.
Lovely to see the girls supporting each other there as the photographs are taken, and the Bethany's holding Alice up.
Oh, there's a nice picture for you, isn't it? That's lovely.
That will be all over Twitter, I'm sure, in just a matter of seconds.
So well done, ladies. Some great stuff there. And the able-bodied swimmers will be up next. So it's our swimmers make their way back, and the able-bodied swimmers just wait till the podium area is clear, and then they'll be on their way to the podium. And they're on their way now. So the familiar yellow and blue there, bronze medalist from the City of Leeds, Sophie Hobber. Liz Stewart making these presentations, former CSA president and one of the core event management team. Silver medalist It's Pierre Murray just pipping Sophie to the wall at the end there from Ellesmere College. And the Open champion is Charlotte Evans from Loughborough University. And the Scottish champion, Emily Grant, by a whisker from Kirsty Simpson. So, don't know whether that's her first national title for Emily, but it might well be.
Almost certain it is. Junior champion there, Ella Shields from Morgan and Bearsden. Lovely smiles from all of the girls. Photographs taken courtesy of Ryan Rowe from our media department.
Yep, Ryan's been working along with his media colleagues hard over these 4 days of competition. 200 backstroke then is next up. No multi-classification event in the 200 backstroke, so we'll be straight into the B final. These swimmers just coming out to the blocks now. The pool is calm, but it won't be for long. So here they come, leading the way there in the blue. City of Glasgow's Conor Massey, he'll go to lane 0. Behind him in lane 1, Stuart Crawford, Glasgow University. Then we have Callum Laurie swimming probably what is not his main event in 2 for University of Stirling.
Sorry to cut in, that shot that we just had was of Callan Conahan, a former Scottish international swimmer, whose kids I believe are about to swim for City of Glasgow.
Excellent. Well, we'll see what happens there. Watch that space. Jamie Irwin is in 3, representing Amersham. Then we have Ryan Retson of first. Simon Clement of the City of Sheffield in 5. Joel Thompson of Ellesmere College in 6. Sam Phippen of Wickham in 7. And 2 from the East region of Swim England, Thomas Clare in 8. Herbie Kinder in 9. 4 lengths of the pool. 2 11s to 2 14s the time this morning.
Just before I'm tapped on the shoulder and corrected, I think Callan Conahan's kids are about to swim for East Kilbride.
Oh, you might get pelters for that one, Alan.
Whoops, sorry, but I've corrected myself. I'm always happy to admit when I'm wrong.
You heard it here.
Several of our promising medley swimmers are featuring in this race. Callum Laurie, Ryan Retson, better known as the medley swimmers, but taking time out to compete in the single stroke events.
Through the turn, and the leader, Joel Thompson, in lane 6. Although as they come down the second length, there's really very little in it. Sam Phippen maybe in lane 7. Now in the green cap might just have the edge. Then in the red cap, lane 5, Simon Clement from City of Sheffield.
Just as on freestyle, if backstroke swimmers on the 200-metre distance can swim an even pace race, that would be perfect, that would be ideal, but certainly as little drop-off as possible between the first and the second 100 is what we're looking for here.
So 102.79 was Clement's split, leading them through the 100. So if we were to do that, we'll be looking for something around 205, 206 sort of territory. Let's see if he can do that. He's certainly breaking out from the rest of the field now in this third 50, and he's opened up a gap of about 4 meters here as we come up to the 150 turn. Goes through that. I'm just waiting for the time to come up. 135.32, so that was around a 32.5.
He's really stretching away and showing the rest of the field a clean pair of heels here. Perhaps just dropping off a little bit on his stroke rate down this last 50, but very strong, very positive swim from Joel and from Simon, and he's going to take the win quite comfortably. Yes,
this is a big win for him. The race is about second place here. Phippen and Thompson battling away, but 207.73, so not quite managing that even split, but it was a 62.7 and then around about a 65 for his second 100. Simon Clement, though, was a 2:11 in the heat, so that's nice progression in heats to finals. Sam Phippen taking second there by a couple of tenths, 2:10.93 from Joel Thompson to 11:17.
Again, for comparison, Scottish record stands at 1 minute 55 seconds to Craig McNally back in 2013 when he was 6th in the World Championship final. So a long way to go for some of these younger lads, but good strong swim, good win from Simon Clement.
So as the B finalists leave the pool, make way for the A finalists who are now at the blocks. Jordan McPhail goes for Natari in lane 0. Ryan Robertson of City of Glasgow in 1. There's a trio of City of Glasgow swimmers here with Joe Watt in 2 and Ryan Brown in 3. Dan Cross of Loughborough University goes in lane 4. Charlie Brown goes in 5 for City of Sheffield. Then we've got Matt Boyle from Katie Aquatics in California. He goes in 6. He's a Scot, so we'll keep an eye on him. Scott Gibson, South Lanarkshire in 7. Keir Edgar of First in 8. And Cameron Brooker of Wickham in lane 9.
Great opportunity for some of these swimmers to win a national title. Scott Gibson, summer best time, another best time this season last night in the 100 backstroke, swimming 56.7. He goes in lane 7, and outside him, Keir Edgar from First will also be looking for a strong swim here.
So away they go. They were 2:08 to 2:11 in the heats, but you would expect them to go faster than that. Dan Cross with a very nice start there in lane 4, and also pushing on well. There you can see in lane 7 Scott Gibson.
Dan Cross is certainly the class act in this field, easily the best time, best entry time. Ryan Brown from City of Glasgow, better known as a 200 butterfly swimmer, but he'll be strong. He had a good swim the other evening. He'll be perfectly capable of coming back strongly. His younger teammate Ryan Robertson also having a very good season.
So it's Cross taking it to them at the moment, and then the others about a body length back. 5 is Charlie Brown, 6 Mac Boyle, 7th Scott Gibson, all fairly close, and just behind them Ryan Brown and Joe Watt, but it is Dan Cross who leads them through halfway at time of 59.34. Second place Scott Gibson, 101.22, with Charlie Brown 101.33 just behind him. In between them, Matt Boyle.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Mac Boyle. First showing, first outing for him at our national championships, and he's doing a good job here in this 200 metres backstroke. Scott Gibson, the best of the Scots so far, but he's being pressed by Mac Boyle.
So final turn, 131.34. Dan Cross then leads by about 1.8. Surely he has got this one in the bag now. Charlie Brown is looking increasingly likely to be the silver medalist. It's up for grabs behind them. Ryan Brown, Joe Watt, Matt Boyle, Scott Gibson, a 4-way fight for the top Scots position, with Cross and Charlie Brown coming in 1 and 2. Let's see what the times are. 2:02.95 for Dan Cross, 2:04.82 for Charlie Brown, and it's Ryan Brown who gets that third spot, and he will be the Scottish champion, 2:07.21.
You will indeed. I said he was in good shape after his 200 butterfly the other evening. Finished very strongly on that last 25, and perhaps a surprise to him and his coach, but a nice national title. Certainly his first one on backstroke for Ryan Brown.
Joe Watt was 4th, Matt Boyle was 5th. So that means Matt Boyle will be the Scottish junior champion. He'll be able to take that medal back over the water to America and show what he did in the summer in Scotland.
In the homeland, indeed, yep. I'll be having a word with him, I think, before he departs back to the US of A, and making sure that we stay in touch with him, wearing the cap there of Aberdeen, which is clearly a connection for him.
So confirmation on the scoreboard here in the venue. 2:02.95 Dan Cross, 2:04.82 Charlie Brown, 2:07.21 Ryan Brown. Scott Gibson 4th, Joe Watt 5th, Matt Boyle 6th. Over to the women now, 200 breaststroke. Again, no MC final, so straight to the Bs. Laura Hawkins, Royal Wolverhampton School there, ready to go in 0. Beth Gardner of Leinster in 1. Emma Doyle of Munster in 2, so a bit of an Irish rivalry there. Megan Daly of Wickham in 3. Eddie Riley of Heart of Midlothian in 4. Emma Chittleborough, University of Aberdeen Performance in 5. Martha Bradley of City of Leeds in 6. Sophie Payne of East Region of Swim England in 7. Abigail Miles, City of Sheffield in 8. Natalie Coogans goes for University of Stirling in lane 9. 2:43 to 2:46 in the heats.
Ellie Riley in lane 4 from Heart of Midlothian. I think we'll be a tad disappointed not to have made this final, the main final. She's certainly got the fastest entry time of these girls, and another one of our young swimmers who is going into this next month's British Championships as the defending champion.
So she'll be looking for a big July, so a nice swim here to set her up for that would be very much what the doctor orders. 35.89 for her at the turn. At the end of the first 50, Abigail Miles touching second, City of Sheffield in lane 8. Fairly close though, coming down the second length. Nobody making a big move just yet.
Important that the swimmers conserve energy on the first half of the 200 breaststroke. Looking for length in the stroke, good drive from the legs, staying as streamlined as possible, conserving energy so that when they have to, when they need to pick up the stroking rate, there is something there for them to pull upon.
Some good swims there at the bottom of your screen. Abigail Miles and Natalie Coogans 1 and 2 at halfway. 1:16.62 and 1:16.74. Of course, the seeding says that it should be those golden lanes where the front runners are, but it doesn't always work out that way, particularly if they're holding back a little bit in the morning heats. And this one is turning out to be very evenly contested.
Very impressed with the technique of Abigail Miles from City of Sheffield in lane number 8, only 14 years of age, and doing exactly what I said, stretching out, laying out the stroke, conserving energy. She should be able to pick things up here if she has to.
Would you maybe expect the older, more experienced swimmers to really have a good go at her down this final length?
I certainly would, and that is what they're trying to do, but because of the way she swam the first 150 metres with a long, efficient stroke, they're not making much impact on her lead.
So it is lane 8, Abigail Miles. Natalie Coogans continuing to push on in lane 9, maybe looking the favourite for second. A late push from Ellie Riley that we talked about earlier, but she's in third. I don't think she's going to catch the Sheffield girl. She's going to take this by about a metre and a half in 2:38.93. So excellent stuff there from Abigail. 2:39.98 she did in the Northeast Regional, so that was a pretty recent time, and takes a second off that here in Glasgow.
That's a very good swim, and that will probably put her in a strong position to perhaps win her first British title, but 2:38 at this stage of the season, the best time, is really strong form to take forward to her home pool where the British Championships will be held.
Is that an advantage for her, do you think?
For swimming fast, it doesn't matter where you are. It may or may not be, but it's a fast pool and everyone loves to go there, and I'm sure she'll be familiar with everything there is to know about the place, and taking that form, and I think will be terrific motivation for her.
So we move to the A final now. This should be a good one. Katie McKenzie at City of Glasgow is in lane 0. Yvonne Brown of South Lanarkshire in 1. Ailsa MacDonald of Northampton in 2. Megan Morrison of Loughborough in 3. Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University in 4. Paula Adams goes in 5 for University of Aberdeen. 6 is Amelia Monaghan from Swim England East Region. Then we have Maya Hall of Ellesmere College in 7. Lucy Ross of South Lanarkshire in 8. And Charlotte Robinson of City of Leeds, nearest to the camera, in lane 9. So Cara Hanlon has looked very, very good so far this week.
She's looked great all season, to be honest. She was, as I said at the start, disappointed to not be in the Commonwealth Games team, but she has risen to the challenge. The motivation of that with best times in 100 and 200 breaststroke at the Cannes Mare Nostrum meet recently, and of course she won the 100 breaststroke title on her first evening.
So we'll see whether she can add the 200 crown to that here. She's had a decent start in lane 4. There's others out with her. Orla Adams, very experienced swimmer, training partner, of course, of Hannah Miley over many years, both at Geary and now at University of Aberdeen Performance. Then in lane 3, right up there, Megan Morrison as well. In fact, it's Adams at the 50 who takes the touch, 34.30 for her. Morrison second and Hanlon third, but all pretty close there. So in the mix, Amelia Monaghan in lane 6 and lane 7, Maya Hull in the black cap down at the bottom of your camera there, Ellesmere College.
And you're seeing the advantage of great racing skills. Megan Morrison had a superb first turn there, took her half a body length away, despite the fact that she didn't touch in first place. She's now going to reach the halfway mark just in first.
1:12.59 for her, Hanlon 1:12.88, and Orla Adams now back in third place. I think it's maybe, is it going to develop into a Morrison-Hanlon battle?
I think it is. I think Cara Hanlon's going to catch her down both of these last two 50s, and Megan Morrison is going to take some distance away from Cara on this last turn.
Orla Adams isn't out of things either in lane 5, and Amelia Monaghan maybe just a little bit back here, but it does look like it's going to be Hanlon at the 150 mark. Let's see what happens on this turn though. That's very little in it at the turn. 151.04 for Hanlon, 151.29 for Morrison. Quarter of a second in it.
Was a slightly better turn that time around for Cara Hanlon. Didn't lose so much time and distance to Megan Morrison, who's tiring slightly, and Cara Hanlon now pushing ahead with 25 metres to go, picking up her stroking rate, and I think looking good for this win.
Orla Adams still working hard in battle now to try and get past Megan Morrison, and it's going to be pretty close there, but there's about a metre and a half advantage for Cara Hanlon. She is going to bring this one in, comes into the wall in 2:29 dead. Second place Orla Adams 2:30.40, and Megan Morrison 2:31.23. And well, that's very good. She was 2:29.8 at Cannes, 2:29 dead here in Glasgow.
Yeah, she's really coming strong over the last part of this season. She is confident, she's strong, she's swimming better and better with every race, and I expect her to go even better again in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Orla Adams then coming past Megan Morrison to take second place there, 2:30.40 for Orla. Here you see them coming in, so talk about the finish here as we watch them slow-mo coming into the wall.
Key thing is to spot the finish from some distance out so that you make sure that you hit the stroke, hit the wall on a full stroke. Cara just made an adjustment a little bit too late there and ended up on a half stroke, so something for her and the coach Matt Trodden to work on, but let's not take away from what was a super swim from her.
It's really encouraging, isn't it, if you can do a best time and then know that there are things that you can work on to make it even better.
Undoubtedly, and that happens at every level of the sport. There are always lessons to be learned, but we mustn't take away from the fact that that was a terrific swim from Cara, and as I said, I think she'll go even quicker down in Sheffield.
So we're back to the podium now, and we're looking at the medalist from the 200 backstroke, and the bronze medalist was Ryan Brown from the City of Glasgow, silver medalist Charlie Brown, City of Sheffield, and the gold medalist there in the Loughborough outfit, Dan Cross. Ryan is the top Scot, so he picks up the medal for that, and Mac Boyle, Katie Aquatics, is the Scottish junior champion. He looks chuffed at anything about that.
You'll be well used to this weather, though. It's been distinctly Californian these last few days in Glasgow.
Yeah, a bit of a contrast from the March when we were in Edinburgh, and a lot of these athletes were up in Edinburgh and the beast from the east, and now into the 30s.
Yeah, and several of them didn't make it to Edinburgh because of the beast from the east.
So great to the contrast of Scottish weather, but it's been absolutely gorgeous here in Glasgow these last few days, and I think we've got a few more days of it to come, so that'll be great.
It really has, and of course if you want to contribute to have your say, then use the hashtag SNOC18 and make some observations, put comments in about the swims, support the swimmers from your team, and make sure that you have your say.
On to the medal presentation now for the 200 breaststroke women. Bronze medalist is Loughborough's Megan Morrison. Maureen Campbell, the chair of Scottish Swimming, doing the honours for us here. Silver medalist Paula Adams from the University of Aberdeen Performance. A pretty useful swim from her as well. We talked about Cara mainly, but Paula could be pretty pleased with her swim as well, I think.
She really will. She finished very strongly in the last 50, just about half a second away from her best time. Lovely moment there between Cara Hanlon, our senior champion, and Yvonne Brown, our junior champion, behind the podium.
So yes, South Lanarkshire's Yvonne Brown there gets a junior medal. I'm pretty sure that's her first junior title as well.
It is. She's having a great season, just beginning to break through, and great shot there. Lovely smiles from all of the girls.
Oh, well done to those ladies. Now we're into the fast stuff. Men's 50 freestyle.
Swimming observers will know that Ben Proud won the 50 free in Rome last night in a fantastic time of 21.16, the fourth fastest time ever and the second fastest ever time in a textile suit.
Are you suggesting that we might not be as fast as that tonight here?
I'm just setting some context and hoping that these guys put on a good show for us, and looking forward to them achieving their personal best times.
And we start off with a multi-classification final. So going in 0, Isaac Dunning swimming S9 for Inverclyde. Carl Hughes also S9 for North Lanarkshire in 1. Gavin Roberts of S14 swimmer from City of Glasgow in 2. Oliver Carter swimming S10 for Carnegie in 3. Louis Lawler, S14 swimmer from City of Glasgow, is in 4. Chap Milne, S14 from Dundee City Aquatics in 5. John Law of S13 swimmer, visually impaired, from University of Stirling in 6. Matthew Scott swimming S14 from University of Aberdeen Performance in 7. Rhys Gill swimming S9 for Eithon in 8. And Cameron Hemphill goes for Incas swimming S10 in lane 9. So full field of para swimmers here, which is great to see.
It is great to see, and that's just reinforcing the point you made earlier on about the strength of para swimming in Scotland.
26.03, Louis Lawler, who's having a super season, was the fastest this morning. So can he back that up now with a strong showing here?
Great start from him, great underwater work, and certainly setting the pace here, trying to see if he can dip underneath that 26-second mark.
He's certainly well clear of all the others. They're not going to get being able to touch him at all. It's about who's going to second, because Lawler absolutely smashing it, 25.70. So really pleased with that, I would think. And that is a new Scottish record, I am hearing as well. Just looking for confirmation of that, but I think, yes, I'm getting the nods from our colleagues here. So terrific stuff from Louis there. Chap Milne second, 27.14, and Ollie Carter 27.60.
I think that smile told the whole story. Beaming from ear to ear he was, Louis Lawler.
Yeah, excellent stuff there. Again, we just need to wait for the points to be calculated to see. It's hard to see Lawler not winning that. Look at him as he comes in there. If they were, when we had the Ingalls double act on the media, they're having a debate about what was the easiest event to spot your finish on. Is it freestyle? What do you think on that one?
I actually think it's breaststroke. Despite what Cara Hanlon did in that last race, it's the one where you've visually got the best idea when the wall's coming, and it's a slow stroke, so you should really get it right.
Funnily enough, you and Ingalls didn't agree with that.
Yeah, we don't agree on much.
Louis Lawler then is confirmed as the winner there. Jack Milne second, and it was Carl Hughes who gets the bronze medal. The S9 swimmer just getting in ahead of the third S14 swimmer, Gavin Roberts. On to the B final though, so no rest here. Kian Senior, Miles Sturck, Harry Stacey, Jack Toe, Ross Leslie, Cameron Brooks-Clark, Lewis Clough, Luke Robbins, Brian O'Sullivan and Alan Corby, the swimmers here, all at 24 seconds on thereabouts in the heat. And well, spot the winner here if you can as they come into the wall. The touch, in fact, goes to Miles Sturck out in lane 1, 23.87. And Lewis Clough second and Harry Stacey third.
The importance of the start in a 22-23 second race is clear, and that was his right from the start. Got a great start, used the underwater up to good effect, and stayed ahead. Got his hand on the finish, spotted that wall, and I'm sure he'll be delighted with his win.
So a good win from him. Here you're seeing them coming in. At that stage you think maybe lane 6 had the edge, but well, lane 1 was always up there. And it was lane 1, Miles Sturck, who came in and took it.
Interesting at the highest level where the swimmers will swim, trying to get a little bit of a drag on the person beside you, swimming close to the lane rope, or indeed trying to avoid the wash of somebody beside you, swimming down the middle of the lane. So lots of interesting tactics, even in the short 50-meter race.
Yep, and now we come to the A final, and they're in lane 0, representing Edinburgh University, Commonwealth Games athlete Kira McGuckin. In 1, Adam Metcalf, Ellesmere College. 2, Jack Sharanek of Edinburgh University. 3 is Sam Irvin of Loughborough. 4, Jack Thorpe, Edinburgh University. 5, Scott McClay from University of Stirling. James Oxborough goes in 6 for Loughborough. 7, Grant Henderson, City of Glasgow. Connor Munn, Swim Ulster in 8, and Mark Campbell, University of Aberdeen Performance in 9.
It's his second race of the evening after the 100 breaststroke just a short time ago.
McClay, the winner of the 50 fly, was very impressive in that, but Thorpe, you would think, will be the favourite here.
You should be both Jack and Scott, Sam, in the semi-finals of this event at the Commonwealth Games.
So let's see what they can do. 22.64, Jack Thorpe, as you said, rested. This is his culmination of his season. He's going to take the summer off after a long, hard year. But going well in lane 3 is Sam Irvin. Is he going to spoil the party here? But here comes Thorpe, and Thorpe looks like he's edging through now, and he's going to take it. He takes it by about half a metre. Let's see the time, 22.92. Probably maybe a little disappointed with that. It's a little slow to get going, maybe off the start.
A little bit tight, I think, certainly tighter than he was this morning, going 3/10 or so quicker than that. And that's the key to sprinting, is not trying hard. The key to sprinting is to be able to relax and swim fast, and we're just seeing an example of that there. A bit of an improvement from Scott McClay on his heat time, but Jack Thorpe just doing enough to take the win.
You see, certainly there, he had 15 metres out or so. He had some work to do, but well, he buckled to it and got the job done in the end. And in the end, he was, what, half a metre or so clear from the second and third place swimmers, Scott McClay and Sam Irvin. A bit of a conversation there about that. As we get ready now to go to our women's sprinters. This is 50 butterfly, the B finalists out there. No multi-classification final in this one. So Clodagh Flood goes for Leinster in 0. Alcaraz in 1 for University of Aberdeen Performance. Then 2 from Loughborough, Amrita Robertson in 2 and Kate Mills in 3. Pia Murray, who's having a busy night, goes for Ellesmere College in 4. Anna Fleming for City of Glasgow in 5. Kirsty Simpson on her second swim from University of Aberdeen Performance in 6. Then it's Anya Slesser from University of Aberdeen Performance in 7. Amy Grant of Loughborough in 8. Gal Simonal of City of Glasgow in 9.
Swimmers have, of course, 15 metres underwater to use off the start and off the turn. Most of the girls taking full advantage of that. This is going to be a really tight race, and again, as we spoke about, spotting the finish is going to be crucial. Fastest swimmer in this race is Anna Fleming, and she's looking like she might just edge this with...
Well, it's very close. In fact, lane 2, I think, gets it. Rita Robertson 28:30. It was close because Clodagh Flood, the Leinster swimmer in lane 0, very nearly got her. 28:35 for Clodagh. And Gaia Alcaraz, in fact, and Anna Fleming maybe just not able to just finish that off quite, and ends up in 4th place. There is the result. Glance at that, so strong stuff there from the girls, and Rita Robertson finishing strongly there. Alcaraz, I think, will be the junior champion from that. As we go to the A final now. Watch those swimmers coming in. In the end, it was, well, it looked fairly straightforward on that playback for Amrita, although, as we said, it was only 500s between her and Clodagh, who must have actually nailed her finish there. So on to the A final. Sophie Freeman goes for East Region of Swim England in 0. 1 is Jane Roberts of Leinster. 2, Emily Horn, 50 fly specialist from City of Glasgow. Emma Reid of Swim Ulster in 3. Emily Barclay of Loughborough in 4. Tame Bruce of Edinburgh University in 5. Kate Clifton of City of Sheffield in 6. Emma Harvey of Millfield in 7. Yasmin Perry for Aberdeen Performance in 8. And Evie Edwards, Edinburgh University, in lane 9.
National record holder for 100 butterfly, set earlier this season. Tane Bruce goes in lane 5. This is also, I think, her last swim of the meet.
So we'll see what she can do. She had the disappointment of a DQ in the 100, so we'll want to atone for that here. Goes a second fastest qualifier into this final in the white cap there in the centre lanes. Just ahead of her, I think, in lane 4 is Emily Barclay, and also going well is Emma Reid in 3 and Emily Horn in 2. This is going to be a really tight affair here. Who gets the touch? It could have gone anywhere. Emily Barclay just nails it. 27.65 for her. Second, Emily Horn, 27.70. Emma Reid was third, 27.78. Ooh, that was close.
That was close. All of these 50-metre races have been close this evening, and those who've executed the best starts and finishes are the ones who've got the just desserts, and Emily Barclay did exactly that. Spotted the finish nicely and takes the win.
See her coming in pretty much on the full stroke as she came in there. So, as you say, spotting it. And is that easy to do? I mean, we were saying which is the hardest, which is the easiest one. Fly might be up there as one of the easier ones.
Yeah, theoretically, you're moving a little bit faster on fly. It's harder to make the adjustment in the stroke. In breaststroke, you can make a shorter stroke adjustment quite easily. With fly, it's quite hard to do that. You have to follow all the way through the stroke. So I'll pick that up with you in Ingalls, but for me, it's a straight win for breaststroke on spotting the finish.
Okay. Presentations now. We start with the men's 50 freestyle. The multi-classification athletes. Kyle Hughes, the bronze medalist from North Lanarkshire. I'm not sure what's going on here. If we've got the able-bodied swimmer come up with the para swimmers, I think we have. That's a Loughborough top, it looks like to me.
This is the able-bodied event presentation. I'm not sure quite what's happened to the sequencing. That's Scott McClay, of course. Danny Lim is subbing for Jack Thorpe, who'll have a relay event shortly.
Thanks for sorting me out there. You're absolutely right. So, the able-bodied swimmers there. So it was Sam Irvin to take out the bronze, Scott McClay the silver, and as you say, Jack Thorpe will get the gold medal. So the able-bodied swimmers there. And the junior champion, one of a stack full of junior medals from John Keane of West Lothian. Who's talked about him doing the clean sweep of breaststroke, and here he is adding the 50 free to that. So we just about, I think I understand what's going on here. And we should be having the multi-classification athletes out next. I can see them just in the marshalling area underneath our commentary position, so they look as if they are ready to make their way out now.
Only one youngster on his phone. That must be a remarkable event.
Shows that they're interested in what's going on. Two, I think. I can see two now. Doesn't take long. One girl, one boy.
Maybe that's because the others have had theirs confiscated.
So just got two of the three medalists from the para event up to the podium. The bronze medalist was Carl Hughes of North Lanarkshire. Looks like maybe, have we got the third one coming up?
That's
yes, he's being summoned up there. Silver medalist. Third time to the podium for Chap Milner, Dundee City Aquatics. So Kyle gets his bronze medal and the gold in that super time, 25.70 for Lewis Lawler.
Kyle a little bit unsure maybe what to do there. Hopefully next time he's there he knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I think if he can continue the progress he's made this year, he's going to be on podiums quite a lot in the next few years.
Let's hope so. And terrific swim as we saw just a few moments ago from Louis Lawler, 25.7 seconds. Great swim, followed up by that lovely smile.
And on to the women's 50 butterfly presentation now. So they're on their way up to the podium. Who is that dapper man in the shorts making the presentation?
Well, one of my former swimmers, now my boss, the chief executive of Scottish Swimming, Forbes Dunlop.
Yep, appropriately garbed for Glasgow weather. So the bronze medal went to Emma Reid, our swim Ulster. Silver to Emily Horn. And the gold to Emily Barclay.
The girls helping Forbes out there. No club t-shirts on, so difficult to work out who is who.
So Emily Horn is the top Scot.
Comparing medals just to make sure that they have the right one.
And the junior champion from the B final, Guy Alcaraz.
Gaia Alcaraz, yeah, was the junior champion. The girls heading off. I think most of them will be involved in relays, so they'll be off to get a very quick swim down. We've one event before that, of course, and that is the fastest heat of the men's 800 metres freestyle.
We don't have heats and finals in our distance events here in Scotland. It's really only in the very major competitions where they do that. So this is the fastest. We had three slower heats earlier. The fastest of which, 8:43.01. That's the time for these guys to beat the field. Then Henry Pearce of the East Region of Swim England in 0. George Barber for Royal Wolverhampton School is in 1. 2, Fraser Agnew of University of Aberdeen Performance. 3, Ross Hill of Loughborough. 4 is Casey Barrett of Royal Wolverhampton School. 5, John Wright, University of Aberdeen Performance. His teammate Tom Bealey in 6. Marshall Illingworth goes for City of Glasgow in 7. Jacob Butterfield of City of Leeds in 8. And Ben Prosser of Wickham in lane 9. Now Tom Bealey in this one will be interesting. So he won the 200 fly, he won the 400 free. You don't think of him as a distance freestyler, but he's obviously in good form at the moment.
You don't necessarily think of Tom Bealey as distance freestyler, but as I was speaking to Ali White, our performance director, last night on this very subject, it's not uncommon for good turner flyers to be good distance freestylers. Several, for as long as people have been swimming, have been good 1500 metre, 400 metre freestylers and 200 butterflies.
So this will be interesting to see how Tom gets on. He's not the fastest in entry times. That's Casey Barrett of Royal Wolverhampton School, and then John Wright, Tom Bealey's University of Aberdeen teammate, then Ross Hill of Loughborough, and then it's Tom Bealey. But well, we'll see how it works out. Certainly Tom Bealey off to a strong start in lane 6 and also in lane 2, Fraser Agnew. So the Aberdonians starting strongly here.
A feature of Tom Bealey's butterfly is his underwater work, as we've been speaking about all evening, particularly with Joe Litchfield using it to such good effect in the 200 IM. And we'll see it at the start of this from Tom Bealey at the test, I guess, of his conditioning, and his work on it will be whether he can sustain that level of effort and distance off the wall by the time this 800 nears completion. He's first to the 100 mark, Tom Bealey, out in 58.85, good strong turn, and if you can use those underwater kicks, he's going to make it really difficult for the swimmers around him. It can be quite soul destroying to go in level with someone and then come out behind them because they're a more effective turner.
And that is that fly kick off the wall then, though, so that's where the fly really comes to good effect, I suppose.
It is. Coaches have been saying for a number of years that it's become the 5th stroke, and it really is, because if you use it to such good effect, as we can see Tom doing there, we saw Joe doing earlier, it's an advantage. It's within the rules. You can go 15 metres. Michael Phelps did it to beat Ryan Lochte in the Olympic trials and the Olympic Games in 2008 when they both set under the old world record. And if you can do it at the end of a 400 IM, you pretty much do it any time you like.
So certainly it is Tom Bealey who is setting off with a pretty healthy lead at 200 metres, 2:02.71, so pacing around just under 64 seconds for his second 100.
It is a nice position to be in, this far ahead, but of course you need to keep working hard, you need to keep pushing hard, because if they start to make inroads into your lead, then the opposite can happen. You can begin to lose form, lose focus and concentration, and Tom needs to keep working hard. He needs to keep pushing hard here and use every advantage he has, including these turns.
George Barber will turn in second place at the 250 up in lane 1, Royal Wolverhampton School swimmer, just 17 years old.
Pacing, of course, important in every race, but particularly as the races get longer. Tom was very strongly out, 58, 2:02 at the 200 mark. And it'll be key that whatever pace he has established, he maintains through this middle portion of the race.
So at 300, 3:07.94. So the pace just slipped by about a second in that third 100. We'll just check on his lead, 3:09.91 for Barber. So just around the 2 seconds he has in hand, with Illingworth in third place. We're on pace at the moment for something in the low 8:30s. So Tom Bealey, 8:34.90 is entry time, so that's the sort of time he's on. But, well, are they coming back at him? Let's see, it was 2 seconds at 300. It's 1.8 now, so George Barber is just nipping away at trying to bring this lead back down.
Yeah, it's a good swim from George. He's paced it certainly more efficiently so far than Tom. If Tom's still in the race towards the end, he certainly will be a force to be reckoned with, as he was in the 400 down that last 50. But if George, or indeed anyone else, can force their way through, as I said, it's really difficult to come back off that. But he's still working hard, Tom Bealey. It's halfway point now at 4:13.4.
So again, maybe just the pace just slipping a little bit. That was 65.5 that time. So, well, we'll keep an eye on it. George Barber still pushing away. It looks like it's now these two. I don't think anybody else can bridge the gap that these two have on the rest of the field.
I don't think so, and it's not looking likely, just glancing across the field as they approach the 450 metre mark, that anyone else is going to do it. And interesting for those watching, the depth coming off the wall that Tom is using. If you're going to go a long distance off the wall, you have to be able to get deep enough to avoid the water that comes behind your body into the turn. It's like a wall hitting you if you don't get underneath it, and he's doing that really well. Not going as far as he did at the start, but still using it to good effect. And of course, if he can take even a half a meter off each turn, it makes it so much harder for George or anyone else to catch him. Really good technique there.
5:17.45. So in fact, actually picking up his pace in that 500. So maybe onto a tactic here of steady after strong starts, then steady, and then try and pick it up. Wonder if he can sustain that sort of time. George Barber then in second place. So we're going nicely here, still in around the 8:30-ish territory, maybe slightly under. But George Barber is still very much there as we go to the 5:50 turn. Let's see what the gap is between them now. It's only about a second, just over a second, 5:49.53 and 5:50.60.
Ordinarily, with 5 lanes between you, you probably wouldn't be able to see the person swimming over there in lane 1. But with the clear water, the clear lanes between Tom and George, and the way that they're breathing towards each other down these even-numbered laps, it's going to make it really interesting on that last 50.
So 200 to go at this turn. So Bealey's lead is definitely coming down. It's now only, well, just under half a second, so pretty much halved in that turn. So George is, as you said, pacing it very nicely here, very steady, and just not panicked by that fast start from Bealey, putting the pressure on him now.
My money is still on Tom Bealey to just edge this win. If George is not able to gain any kind of advantage over the next 100 metres going into that last turn, I think Tom will destroy him on the underwater work and be finishing strong enough to win.
Well, that's the prediction from Alan Lynn, the man who knows these things, you would like to think. So we'll see whether that comes true as we come up towards the bell turn.
George is doing exactly what I said he needed to do, and that's to develop a lead going into the final 100. Tom has just lost touch with him, and maybe too much for him to actually gain. George has paced this perfectly and has the advantage now going into the last 100 metres.
So it is going to take a pretty strong finish from Tom Bealey to bring this one back. He was down by 9/10 at the 700-metre turn, but it does look like he's picking up the pace and the action now. So is George. There's a good race going on for the bronze medal. Henry Pearce in 0, and in lane 4, Casey Barrett. But final turn, and it is still George Barber, 7:58.65 from Tom Bealey, 8:00.40. So now nearly 2 seconds. Surely Tom Bealey will not be able to claw that back down this final length.
No, I don't think so. Give me my elephant gun, Duncan. There's one sitting on Tom Bealey's shoulders.
Well, he's probably doesn't do this too often, and this will be a learning experience about how to go about it. Maybe the advice will be just to be a bit easier at the beginning, but well, very nicely executed swim from George Barber from the Royal Wolverhampton School. 8:29.47 for him. Oh, and he'll be happy with that. 8:38 was his time that he came in on, so to improve by some 9 seconds is very impressive, and to do that from lane 1 and take the gold, job done.
Yeah, indeed, he looks very happy with his 8.5 minutes worth of work there. I haven't seen a shot of Tom Bealey yet, but I think he'll be gasping for air after that very bold first couple of 100 metres. Great effort from him. Really nice to see him swim distance freestyle, and look forward to seeing him drop under 2 minutes for Turn of Fly in Sheffield.
So there is the order. So Casey Barrett winning that battle for the bronze medal in the end by over 2 seconds, 8:37.09. And 8:39.44 for Henry Pearce. So they third and fourth, Marshall Illingworth fifth. And we see George coming in.
Well done, head down on the finish, spotted it nicely. Bit of a grimace, turn around and see what time you've done. Taking the win in a nice PB. Well done, George.
Yeah, it's interesting there. His initial reaction suggested he wasn't happy, but then I think he saw the time and it all changed.
Great effort by him. And we have the final ladies event of the evening, the 4x100 meters freestyle. Just see the teams in the first couple of lanes there.
So running through the field, South Lanarkshire out in lane 0, City of Glasgow in 1, 2 University of Aberdeen Performance, Leinster in 3, Edinburgh University in 4, City of Glasgow in 5, Warrender in 6, East Region of Swim England in 7. They have a second team, their B team, going in 8, and a junior team from the University of Aberdeen Performance go in lane 9. The City of Glasgow team in lane 1 also is a junior team. 2 City of Glasgow teams going here.
Indeed, I was going to point that out. So if there is a battle for the junior title, it will be between Glasgow and Aberdeen, separated by 8 lanes and by a few more miles than that.
Hard to tell sometimes on entry times, because sometimes the entry time submitted and the teams that are entered are not the same, so you can't always judge based on entry times. But you would think Edinburgh University will be pretty hot favourites here.
Oh, for sure. They will definitely be the favourites, and barring any unforeseen takeovers, will take the win. Interesting to see who they swim from the squad that's there, and whether they're going to swim an all-Scottish team and make an attempt to break the Scottish record, or whether they're just going to take the win and the national title.
So here we go. As Alan said, this is the final piece of action for the women. We have the men's relay to follow. And off we go. So leading off, Nikki Miller for South Lanarkshire, Katie Shannon for City of Glasgow Juniors, Alice Alcaraz for Aberdeen Performance, Ciara Stapleton for Leinster, Katie Stark for Edinburgh University, Coulson O'Neill for City of Glasgow Seniors, Katie Smith for Warrender, Macy Lawrence for the East Region A's, Ellie Wheeler for the B's, and for Aberdeen Performance, Alicia Bain, their junior team.
Really strong start from Katie Stark, Edinburgh University. One of our fastest and finest freestyle sprinters for the women. Very, very strong performance leading off this Edinburgh University team from her.
Yes.
Made a couple of A finals at Canny recently, Sir Duncan, and very much in good form at the moment. She's going to take them into the lead after 100.
Yeah, strong performance here and clear lead for her. 56.25 is the time at the first changeover. Taking it on now, Tame Bruce, fresh from that butterfly swim. And she'll be looking to continue it on. We've seen some good, strong freestyle from Tame recently.
We have indeed. She swam at the Irish Championships while we were in Australia preparing for the Commonwealth Games, and swam 55 seconds for 100 free in the Edinburgh Uni Relay, so good form from her.
And halfway through a swim, 1:23, leads by 3 seconds from City of Glasgow. Anna Fleming on the second leg for the Glaswegians. But, well, they're really about trying to hold on to second place here ahead of Leinster's Charlotte O'Riordan in lane 3, and the red cap of Murray Swanson for Warrender and Sophie Freeman for Swim England East. But halfway, and swimmer 3 goes 1:53.75 for the Edinburgh University swimmers. Rachel Masson now on the third leg, going in lane 5, and Robin Crawford now taking it on for City of Glasgow.
Nice balanced freestyle sprinting here from Rachel Masson, one of our more experienced senior female swimmers.
2:20.16 then halfway through, a lead of 5 seconds. City of Glasgow holding on to second reasonably well from Leinster's Trudy Gillich, and a good battle between Swim England East with Emma Cruikshanks and Sarah Anderson for Warrender in lane 6 and 7, and they're up now with Leinster and trying to catch City of Glasgow, but there's only one team for this one. Edinburgh University's final swimmer goes 2:50.38, and on the anchor leg, I think it is Evie Edwards, just waiting for confirmation of that.
It is indeed.
And well, this is really about how fast can this team go. The race very much on behind her. You can just see that on the right of your screen now. Glasgow trying to hold on to that advantage, being pushed by Leinster. Emily Horn on the anchor for City of Glasgow against Kate Kavanagh. But here come Edinburgh University then. Evie Edwards has the job of bringing them home. Time just going to the 3:30s. The Scottish club record 3:47.33. Well, it's going to be there or thereabouts, I think, as Edinburgh University bring it in. Can we finish off on a record here? The clock just coming towards that 3:47. Are they going to be inside it? Oh, just outside. 3:47.99. That wall just seemed to get further and further away almost as the end there. You thought surely they were going to do it, but no, not quite. A good anchor leg from Emily Horn for City of Glasgow brings them fairly comfortably in the end into second place, and a right old scrap for third, but it was Warrender with Roisin Ramsey, another of our youth squad swimmers, putting in a good final leg there.
Edinburgh University showing the strength of their women's swimming programme, and a particularly good final leg from Roisin Ramsey, bringing Warrender through onto the podium in third place. That's a feature of her swimming here this week. She did the same thing in the 800 freestyle relay just the other evening, so well done, Roisin.
Just looking at further down, City of Glasgow 3:59.31 will be our top junior team. So our last race of the day, it's pretty crowded at the start end of the pool at the moment as the men come on and the women take their leave.
It's a little bit like it used to be when I taught physical education. It was social dancing time of the year. There was a melee, and out of it came these partners learning the Gay Gordons or the military two-step.
I'm not quite sure that's what's going on at the moment.
Sadly no, sadly no. It's too much testosterone left now. These big men are going to finish us off with some fast swimming, hopefully.
And running through the field here, we've got South Lanarkshire in lane 0, City of Glasgow B team in 1, Munster in 2, University of Aberdeen Performance in 3, Edinburgh University in 4, Leinster in 5, City of Glasgow in 6, their A team, 7 is Wickham, 8 Warrender, and 9 Ellesmere College. So we saw the Edinburgh University women. Now what can the men do? Leading them off, Jack Thorpe, Tom Bealey straight out of that 800 freestyle, so this is a big ask for him to lead off for Aberdeen.
I made a joke about needing an elephant gun, and I think I'll definitely need one. Tom Bealey swimming the opening leg of this 100 freestyle for Aberdeen Performance. Jack Thorpe, who we saw earlier on in the 50 with a strong finish, he's taken it out on Edinburgh University's men's behalf, but they're being pushed by Leinster at the moment in lane 5.
Yep, that's David Prendergast in the pool for Leinster, an experienced Irish swimmer, and he is right there with Thorpe, just a little bit behind him as we come up towards the first changeover. It's Alan Corby in third place for Munster, so the Irish well positioned here at the first changeover. Jack Thorpe hands over to Kieran McGuckin, so in good hands here with some of our Scottish relay bronze medalists.
Yes, both boys, Kieran and Jack, part of that medal-winning team out in Gold Coast. Very experienced relay swimmers. Edinburgh University certainly stacking the relay with the strongest swimmers at the front end.
It's interesting tactic there. 1:14.97, up by about a second and a half, with Cian O'Keefe going for Leinster in second place. Third still is Munster. Joseph Mooney just with Stuart McIntosh nipping at him now, maybe just edging into third place for University of Aberdeen, but it is the Edinburgh men about 4 meters up now at the halfway point, 142.52. On to Ross Leslie now. Second still is Leinster with Isaac Fitzmaurice on leg 3. Mark Campbell, who's had a pretty busy night of it for University of Aberdeen, goes third for them.
Just reflecting on this sounds like a Pro 14 rugby. Edinburgh, Glasgow, Munster and Leinster. It's the Scots and the Irish battling it out here with Edinburgh University showing clean pair of heels to everyone else at the moment. They're going to take the victory, and it'll be a case again, as with the girls, of how fast they can go and get close to that Scottish club record.
Well, certainly keeping that rugby analogy going, Edinburgh, if they could have this margin of lead over Leinster, Munster and Glasgow, they'd be very happy in rugby circles. But 2:33.81 it is for the Edinburgh men as we go to their final swimmer, Scott Gope. He'll be up against Leinster's Brian O'Sullivan, so an experienced hand at the wheel now for Leinster. And it's Harry Stacey anchoring for Aberdeen. They've moved into second place now, so they're looking strong here.
It's a great race for second place. Joe Watt coming through strongly for the home team. Glasgow, but out in front, Scott Godby going to take the win for Edinburgh University, and it looks like the Irish are going to get second.
So we're focusing here on Scott Gobe bringing it home, but as we go to the wider shot, we could see here that Harry Stacey is getting the job done for the Aberdonians. They are going to take second. It's very much a battle still for the bronze, so Edinburgh take it, Aberdeen second. Who's going to get third? I think Glasgow just coming in ahead of Leinster to take the bronze medal. Good finish to our racing today. So the win for Edinburgh University, 3:25.93. University of Aberdeen, 3:29.60 in second. And City of Glasgow third, 3:31.47.
Lots of racing for these guys in close proximity to each other. The races this evening did a great job, held on to their skills, good changeovers. The Edinburgh guys taking the win as expected, and a well-earned rest certainly for one or two of them this season after a job very well done.
So some super stuff there. We will finish the night off with our presentations as we just watch those swimmers coming in. Scott there had the responsibility of bringing them home and did that pretty well.
Tired looking bodies, not exactly bounding out of the pool at the back end of this session.
So 3 days done, 1 day to go. So athlete, you're probably getting a bit tired at this stage. What's the instructions from coach for tonight and leading into tomorrow, assuming the course that you are swimming and got some big swims tomorrow?
The instruction would be, it's a brand new day, make sure that you get your nutrition and your hydration and your rest correct this evening. Make sure you do a good swim down if you've been racing there at the end, and wake up tomorrow morning fresh, positive, and perhaps ready to swim your best event, your main event. So day 1, day 3 or 4 or anything else, it's important that you stick to what you know works for you and helps you to swim fast.
What you may not be aware of if you haven't been to Tollcross is that as you look at the spectator gallery there, and through the doors underneath the gallery there is another pool. There's a 6 by 50 meter pool, and the swimmers have the opportunity to go in there at any times through this competition and do their preparations and their swim downs. So that's a great facility here in Tollcross to have that second 50 meter pool there at the athlete's disposal. It
really is a world-class facility, and that's part of that world-class provision. Here we have the presentations for the men's 800 free being made by Andy Figgins, head coach of South Lanarkshire, and of course a member of Scottish Swimming's board.
So the bronze medalist, Casey Barrett from the Royal Wolverhampton, Tom Bealey with that super swim where he really pushed it out hard and then tried to hang on, didn't quite manage it, and that really well executed swim from Royal Wolverhampton School. George Barber takes the gold. Tom Bealey, the top Scot, so he gets the medal for that. And our top junior is Jack Munsey from Perth City. He's not here tonight. He swam earlier in the heats this morning, so he will get the junior medal. Relay presentation still to come, of course.
Great shots in between all of these swims and presentations from our broadcaster, QTV Sports, doing a fantastic job of bringing you this coverage as always. Still some time to use the hashtag SNOC18, SNOC18, if you have something to say or some praise to give for the swims this evening.
So the women's relay medalists coming out now. The podium gets kind of crowded at this point. Alison Lowe back doing the honours for this one. Bronze medalist with that storming finish, Warrender. Katie Smith, Mari Swanson, Sarah Anderson and Rasheen Ramsey. They were gold medalists in the 4x2, so back that up with a nice bronze here. Silver medalist, City of Glasgow. Al Simonal, Anna Fleming, Robin Crawford and Emily Horn. Really good anchor swim from Emily there to nab that silver, because there was a lot of competition for that silver medal.
These podiums not really designed for relay squad presentations, particularly the senior women and senior men.
And that gold medal, so close to the Scottish Club record, just missed it, but a great quartet of swims from Edinburgh University's Katie Stark, Tane Bruce, Rachel Masson and Evie Edwards.
Ian Wright, head coach of the home team, City of Glasgow, orchestrating the junior winners, who are of course his team, and no doubt there'll be some photographs taken for social media purposes.
Yep, mobile phone in hand, ready for action as the City of Glasgow team come forward for their medals. Katie Shanahan, Elise McQueenie, Lauren Wetherell and Serena Iguaram. Four very talented youngsters. There's the Edinburgh Uni girls. All huddled together. We had a beautiful big podium here in 2014. I've heard that the Emirates have stolen that from Tollcross. Is that true?
I believe it is true. I was at the Emirates last night actually, and bumped into some of our QTV Sports staff who were there broadcasting press conferences from the Great Britain-Estonia Basketball International, which of course Great Britain won. A fantastic event. So covering more than just swimming, QTV Sports, delighted to have them on board.
So one more presentation to go. It's the time for the men, and they're just about to make their way up. Here they come.
Ambling along, I think it would be fair to say, the men.
Well, they have worked pretty hard today. Let's give them a break. Bronze medalist, City of Glasgow. The City of Glasgow team, Grant Henderson, Gregor Swinney, Martin McInnes and Joe Watt. Silver medalist, University of Aberdeen performance team. Tom Bealey, Stuart McIntosh, Mark Campbell, Harry Stacey.
Hopefully with the names on the t-shirts to assist us if we don't know who they are.
And it's an Edinburgh University double. They won the women's one, they won the men's one. Gold medalists, Edinburgh University. Jack Thorpe, Kieran McGuckin, Ross Leslie, and Scott Gopey.
Boys still got plenty to say despite their efforts.
And we've just got one representative from the junior winners. They swam this afternoon, and it was Swim West Lothian who pick up the junior medal. So they'll be taking the trophy and the medals back to share out with his teammates. I hope they give him more than one medal. Otherwise, they'll have to give 3 months each.
I'm sure there are 3 others waiting somewhere for the victorious West Lothian junior boys team.
So that's just about it for day 3. What are your thoughts on today? Any highlights that stand out for you, Alan?
Well, not because I picked it at the start, but because it definitely was the best quality swim for me was Cara Hanlon's 2:29 flat 200 breaststroke. It's just further evidence of the progress that she's made this season, but also very encouraging to see several other younger or junior swimmers coming through with fine, strong performances as they fine-tune things ahead of the British Summer Championships in a few weeks' time.
And some great para swimming as well, but we're not done yet. We've got another day's competition. This is what's coming up tomorrow. So 100 butterfly for the men, 100 free, 200 free for the men, 200 butterfly. Sprints tomorrow, 50 backstroke for the men, 50 breaststroke for the women, men's 400 IM, 1500 freestyle for the women, and medley relay just to cap everything off. Should be a good evening to Alan.
Always great to see the medley relays at the end of every meet, domestic and international, and some great racing in prospect with those events tomorrow.
So we'll be back on air at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. Don't miss it. But for now, from QTV Sport, from myself, Duncan McKinnell, my co-commentator, Alan Lynn, from Tollcross, we wish you a very good evening.
Scotland's a wild and lovely place.
But there's a change we must embrace.
Scotland's water's world class.
No doubt.
So, take a refillable bottle.
When you go out,
It's your water, your life.
top up from the tap with Scottish Water.
Fresh, cool, clear.
And only available right here.